Most of the interview coaching that I see out there is telling you the same thing. Do more, rehearse more questions, gain more confidence through that practice or this practice and practice and practice. And every senior leader I've coached has tried to do exactly that. But here's what years of hiring taught me. The person who wins the room is almost never the most confident in it. Something else is happening across the table. Something the panel starts reading before you have finished your first answer. And it decides the outcome more than your experience does. Almost no one has been told what it is. And today I'm going to take you through my side of the table and show it to you. What the room is reading comes down to 4 things, and I see these 4 things in a progression. The first one you can fix before your next interview. And the 4th is the one that inadvertently decides more than the other 3 combined. I have sat on the other side of the table as a CEO and on other hiring panels. I was the one deciding who got the call. And here is the uncomfortable truth from that seat. The panel forms a read on you in the first few moments, long before your answers can defend you. I once had an expert guest on the Job Hunting podcast, my podcast show, and they explained that this impression lasts for 4 to 7 seconds. And then we have lab research says that very first read of face alone is even faster. It's only a fraction of a millisecond. So let me take you through all 4. So the first thing is the state you arrive in. Not your mood, the nervous system you bring into the room. There are 3 states that tend to lose interviews. A body language expert I interviewed on the podcast named them. I use them with my clients constantly, and each one gets solved in a different way. First is the frozen state. You go careful, small, over-rehearsed, no movement, no energy, like there's no one home. The second one is the flooding state. You talk too much, you go too fast, chasing the answer, the floodgates are open. And the third one is the flat state. You have done this so long, you have gone quite numb about your experience and your expertise, and it reads as no energy and no want. And this isn't just me reading it from across the table. One study of over 800 experienced managers rated the very same candidate. And when that candidate showed nervy, anxious body language, the scores dropped from about 4.5 out of 5 to a 3.5. Same answers, same person. The state alone completely changed the outcome. Here's something else I want you to know. If you wait 5 years or more between interviews, the stress resets. Your body treats it like it's the first interview you've ever done all over again, no matter how senior you are. And that's not a flaw. It's just what happens when the muscles get unused. So these states have gone unchecked for a long time. And don't take me wrong, these aren't flaws you've let grown on you. These are just our own defaults from a place that already existed in your regular personality. And for the frozen state specifically, here's the reframe I give my clients when their catastrophizing starts. What's the actual worst case scenario? You don't get a job you don't currently have, and you walk out of that room with exactly what you've walked in. So go with that mentality. What do you have to lose anyway? It's a great way to trick your mind out of catastrophizing things. When you walk into a room, you are not trying to feel fearless. You are trying to be effective. And that is a much more reliable strategy for you. Clients ask me to coach confidence to them. And I am honest, I'm not sure that I can, but I can help you be courageous. I'm very much about courage over confidence in these situations, because confidence takes months to build, whereas courage, you can choose this afternoon. And strategies like this is exactly what I do with professionals like you. with my coaching clients every day. So if you want this type of support, go to my website, renatabernarde.com, and book an introductory meeting with me. I will tell you if I think I'm the right coach for you. You can assess if I'm the type of coach that you need. There's a link in the description below. So a nervous executive who is present beats a confident one who is performing every time. That is such an important thing for me to tell you, and it's one that I don't think people think about all the time. The second one is more subtle. It is the reason why your best, most rehearsed answers can still fall flat in the interview room. The second thing is where your attention goes when you are under pressure. Not whether you feel nervous, everyone does. It's where your mind gets redirected to. I learned the cleanest version of this from a sports psychologist I had on my podcast, and I've used it with my clients ever since. You see, most people aim their attention inward. Do not ramble. Do not look nervous. Why did I just say that? That inward direction is exactly what makes you ramble and look nervous. The better alternative is for you to aim outward at the task in front of you. Make it really clear your answer to their question. Give them one great example with a result. Ask one good question back. Your nervous thoughts can come along for the ride. Your attention stays on the task. You can let your thoughts exist and still perform well. Let me repeat that. You can let your thoughts exist, feel them, and still you will perform really well in your job interview. That is sports psychology applied to job hunting. And this isn't soft advice. There's hard science behind it. We have a meta-analysis of 73 studies that found that focusing your attention outwards on the effect that you want to create beats focusing inward on how you feel yourself. And it holds up under pressure. They even have a name for that inward version, the constrained action problem. You start consciously controlling what should be running automatically, and that is exactly what makes you choke. The way I coach my clients is simple. Just label the thought and then aim out. I'm noticing the pressure and then back to the next 60 seconds. So that is your number 2. The third thing is yet more subtle. It is what sets the difference between a panel feeling you are there for them or just there for the job. It comes down to a single word you are not even aware you are choosing. It's the distance your focus is set to. Let me make this clear for you. There are 2 distances, the near focus and the far focus, and you need both. Near focus is just the next 60 seconds. Answer this question. Give one clean example. Hand it back to them. The far focus is the whole arc of the interview. Am I building trust here? Am I making it easy for them to picture me in this seat, in this job? And I believe there is one tell that gives away you've slipped back onto yourself, and it's the pronoun you choose. If you've heard me say this about resumes, they, not I. This is the live version of it in a job interview. When it's I, the room hears someone managing their own image. When it's they, or you, the room hears a leader who is already solving their problem. So I want you to flip the script on purpose. Walk in having already decided how you want them to feel when you leave. Then spend the whole hour quietly making that true for them. And that is 3. And now let's talk about the 4th. The one I promised you, the one that decides more than all of the others put together. And it's the one that no technique, no script, no amount of practice can fake. The 4th thing is congruence. Congruence is whether your words, your face, and your body are all telling the same story. And here's the mechanism that I use with my clients. It comes from that same body language expert I had on the podcast, and she puts it in a way that is easy to remember. And she calls it TAP. When 2 things are true, that is, you're being truthful and you're being authentic, then the proof just shows up on its own. The body stops contradicting your words. And the research on this goes back many, many years. We have one meta-analysis of over 60 studies that found that nonverbal signals, things like a steady eye contact and settled congruent presence, are amongst the strongest predictors of how a panel rates you, often more than the words themselves. And it doesn't seem to matter if the interview is formal or unstructured. And this is exactly why fake it until you make it falls apart at senior levels. Under real pressure, the fake will fade. And the experienced panel assessing you will fill that gap even when they can't quite name it. I've watched the candidates say all the right things while everything else about them was saying something completely different. And you know what? The room believed that something different. So the work here isn't a better mask. It's walking in as the person who can actually do the job and then letting the room read something that's genuinely there. So how do you set all four of these things before you even walk in? Look, there is one single preparation that can help you, and it won't take you too long. So here it is. It's this old idea of beginning with the end in mind, applied for your interview. Write one single sentence of how you want them to feel when you leave the room. Do you want them to feel like, I don't need to interview anyone else? That's the one. Then let that one sentence decide your state, your nervous system, and your focus, not your script. And let me name the real villain here just once. It's not the executive presence. Executive presence is real. I coach it every week. I work with senior candidates that need it. But the villain here is the old definition of it. Presence as a confident mask you put on, a uniform professional style, the way that you project, perform, and pretend. That definition is old-fashioned. And honestly, it has cost a lot of good leaders positions that they should have won. Because executive presence, the real thing, is much simpler. It's about presenting yourself so that people remember you. It's being read accurately in the room. It's being remembered for what you can do. You're not walking in there to perform. You're walking in there to be read accurately. And that you can actually train for. You have total control while you are in the room with them. Once you walk out, that's it. So spend the hour with them on what you can control: your state of mind, your attention, your focus, your congruence. Not on reading their faces for a verdict, and not on overthinking what will happen next. And if after all of your preparation a rejection comes, I want you to think of two things. First of all, it's just one sample. Look, interviewers are often undertrained. One panel's decision says much less about you than it feels like right now. But don't ignore the data from your own job search. And if you have a sample of rejections, there's usually data in the process. What stage do things stall for you? What is the bottleneck that you need to fix? One rejection is noise, but if a pattern occurs, that's information for you to continuously improve your job search. And look, I have more things to say to you. If you're not yet a subscriber to my newsletter, please subscribe. It's free, it goes out weekly, and there's content there that I do not share publicly. So you will find a link to subscribe below, and I would love for you to also send this video to somebody that you believe needs to hear what I have to say. Pay it forward. The very first thing we covered today, the state you walk in, is the hardest one to hold when the nerves actually hit. I've made a whole video on how exactly to steady your state in a few minutes before you walk into that room. So you can go and watch that one next before your interview, and I will see you there. Bye for now.